Hi guys, welcome back to Fort Reads. We're on the last story of the book, so this is The Giving Tree. Once there was a forest where few people ever went. In the middle of this forest was a clearing, in which stood a tree. Its trunk was straight and tall, its branches were strong, its leaves were beautiful, and the fruit tasted like heaven. One morning the tree awoke as usual to a chorus of birds and other forest creatures. It stretched its branches and rustled its leaves to greet the new day. Then it looked down and saw a basket in which slept a small baby girl. The tree waited, but no one came for it. After a while, the baby awoke and started to cry. "You're hungry," said the tree. "You can have my fruit." The tree shook one of its branches. A fruit fell into the baby's mouth and turned immediately into juice sweeter than the mother's milk. 6 times during the day that baby cried, and each time the tree fed her with its fruit. The next morning, the basket and the baby had gone. 10 years later, a young girl stood in front of the tree. "Don't you remember me?" she said. I was the baby you fed. What will you give me now?" "You can have my twigs and leaves," said the tree. The girl climbed the tree and played in its branches. She swung on them, used them as a tightrope, and then broke off a large twig and made it into a sword for a game of pirates. In the heat of the day, the tree's leaves shaded the girl from the sun. As evening came, the girl left. Some years later, the girl came back. Now she was a teenager. "What will you give me?" she asked. "You can have my branches," said the tree. So the girl sawed the branches off the tree and took them away to build herself a wooden house. More years passed. When the girl came back, she was a young woman. "What will you give me now?" "You can have my trunk," said the tree. The girl chopped down the tree and from it made a dugout canoe. Then she took it to the sea and set off on her travels. The tree was now just a stump. Many years passed, and one day an old woman stood next to the tree stump. The woman asked, "What will you give me now?" The tree replied, "I have no more to offer than what I am. You can have my stump." The old woman sat down. "After all these years, you have given me food, shelter, play, travel. What can I give to you, tree?" "I was there at your beginning, and now I am the last page in your book. Tell me about your life." So the old woman told the tree all about her life and travels, the people and places she had seen and been to. The tree listened. As the night grew on, the old woman didn't leave. She curled up on the stump and fell asleep for the last time. That night, something magical happened, and the next morning, in the clearing in the forest, where few people ever went, there stood a tree. It was more beautiful and wiser than it had ever been. Have a good night, guys.